problem based on behavior of current flow for given network. So here we are going to perform a problem which is based upon the behavior of the current flow, that is from the terminal A to the terminal B of the given network. So we are going to perform this under the part 2 of the advanced level. Then now here, in order to perform, see here the network will be given first, then based upon the network, by means of the truth values, finding the truth values of the in the truth table of the given condition. So here we can find out when the current flows from the terminal A to the terminal B. So it's here the problem number 1 under this condition. So here we have to determine, or in other words we have to find out when. So here, when does the current flows from terminal, that is A, to the terminal B in the circuit network which is given. So here, as per the problem, the network which is given to us is of, so this is the terminal A, and whereas here is the switch, that is P, and in parallel to this switch P there is of the another parallel combination, that is here the one switch Q is arranged, and in parallel to it another switch, that is R, is also arranged, then connected to the other terminal or the second terminal, that is B. Whereas here, as per the circuit network which is given to us, so it is in total it is the parallel combination of the three switches, that is P, Q and as well as R. Whereas through the series, so here the switch P is connected, and whereas through the another direction, so here Q and R are connected in parallel. So here we can write the condition as Q or R for this connection, the parallel combination of the Q and R switches, and whereas so this combination is Q or R is again parallel connected to the switch, that is P. So overall we can write the combination as P R of Q or R. So here we have to find out the truth values of this condition P R, Q or R in order to find out when does the current flows from the terminal, that is A, into the terminal B. And whereas the solution starts now. So in our solution, as per the circuit network, that is given to us, the current flows from the terminals, that is A into B, or in other words A to B, in parallel combination of the switches. That are Q, R, R. So here then we have, symbolically we can write it as so here symbolically we can show by means of Q, R, R, and similarly the current flows, that is from terminals A to B in parallel connection, or in other words in parallel combination of the switch that is P with the parallel combination of QRR. So here it can be shown. So here then we have, so symbolically it can be denoted by means of, or in other words symbolically we can show by PR QRR. Then now therefore the behavior of current flow from the terminals that is A to B, so here can be shown by the truth values, by finding the truth values in the truth table. So here it can be shown whether the current flows from the terminal A to the terminal B or not. So it can be shown by the truth table. So by means of the condition which is nothing but say here PR QRR. So here we have to find out the truth values of this condition, that is PR QRR. So in case if we get the truth value as T, so it shows that the current flows from the terminal A to B, and in case if we get the truth value as F, then it shows that the current does not flows from the terminal that is A to B. Then whereas in the next logical step, so here we have to find out the truth values for the condition that is PR QRR. So when we get the truth value as T under the column that is PR QRR, then it shows that the current flows. Then for F, the current does not flows. Similarly, in case of the switches, here we are going to assume the statements as one as P, the other as Q, and the last one as R. So when the truth value of the condition is of T, then it shows that the switch is closed. Then when the truth value is of F, then it shows that the switch is open. So based upon these conditions, let us find out the truth values of the condition PR QRR. So here this is the truth table. So here we are going to assume the three conditions or the three statements, one is P, Q, and as well as R. Whereas in the next column, so here we are going to find out the simple statement that is QRR, which is in the bracket. Then later on let us find out the overall, that is PR QRR. By giving the numberings of the columns, so here P, Q, R are under the column 1, 2 and 3, and QRR is under the column number 4. Similarly, PR QRR is under the column number 5. But here when we assume a single statement, so it is understood that the statement may be either true or false, but not both. There are of two possibilities. But here when we assume the two statements, there are of four possibilities, both may be true and both may be false. There are, and the third possibility is of, if one is of true, the other will be of false, and the fourth possibility is of, if the first one is of false, then the truth value of the next must be assumed as the true. But here in this case, so here there are of three statements, then the possibilities will be of double to that of the P and Q statements. So there are of, that is 8 possibilities. In order to remind very easily, so here the easiest way of reminding is of, so under the, by assuming the truth values of the statement, first statement that is P, so we have to assume, so since there are of 8 possibilities, half of the 8 is of 4, let us take 4 truth values as true and 4 truth values as false. So here in this manner we are going to assume the truth values of the statement, first statement that is P, as 4 truths and 4 falses, and half of the 4 is of 2. Then now in the next case, that is under the statement Q, the truth values we are going to assume it as 2 truths and 2 falses. Similarly and so on. So here 2 truths and the next 2 are of false. But here half of the 2 is of 1, that is we have to assume one statement as true, the other statement as false under the statement that is R. So here therefore the assumptions of the truth values of the statement that is R is of 1 true and 1 false, true and false, and similarly and so on for the next assumptions. Then now in the next column, under the next column we have to find out Q or R, the connective between the statements that is Q and as well as R is of R. So here it will come under the disjunction. The condition of the disjunction of the two statements is of, if the truth value of the first statement that is Q is of false and the truth value of the next statement that is R is also of false, therefore the disjunction also will be of false. So here Q is under the column number 2 and R is under the column number 3. We have to search under the second and third columns in order to find out the disjunction, that is Q or R. So here Q must be of false and R must be of false. Therefore the truth values of both the statements must be of false in order to get the disjunction as false. So we have to search for F and F under Q and as well as R statements. So first one is of T and T, next is of T and F and T, F and F. So here in this row, that is the fourth case, so here the truth values of both the statements that is Q and as well as R are of false, therefore the disjunction also will be of false. So the next condition is of true and true, the next possibility is of true and false, F and T. So in the last column, so last row, so both the statements are of false, or in other words the truth values of the both the statements Q and R are of false, therefore the disjunction also will be of false, whereas in the next case the remaining all will be of true. Similarly, let us find out the last row, that is last column, P R Q R R. So in order to find out the truth values of P R Q R R, the connective between these two statements, that is P and this bracket consisting Q R R is of R, that is the disjunction. So here the condition of the disjunction is of the statement that is P must be of true, that is the truth value of the first statement P must be of false. So the truth value of the statement that is Q R R also must be of false, therefore the disjunction also will be of false. So here P is under the column number 1 and Q R R is under the column number 4. So we have to search under the columns 1 and as well as 4 in order to get the disjunction of the statements that is P R Q R R. Then now here, in order to get the disjunction, both the truth values of the statements P R Q R R must be of false in order to get the disjunction as false. So we have to search for F and F under the columns 1 and as well as 4. So here T and T, so next case is also of T and T, third is also of T and T. So here fourth case is of T and F. So here F and T, F and T. So here F and T only in the last case. So here both are of both the truth values of the statements that is P and as well as Q R R are of false statements, therefore the disjunction also will be of false, then the remaining all will be of true. But here we know that when we get the truth values of the condition that is P R Q R R, which is required to be found, so here we must get the truth values as true in order to know the current flows or not. So when we get the truth value as true, then it shows that the current flows. So here it shows that the current flows in the 7 conditions, whereas in the last condition it does not flows because we got the truth value as false. So in this case the current does not flows, and the remaining in all the cases the current flows. So here we can write it as current flows in all the cases except the case where the switches that is P, Q and R in such a manner that, so here P, Q and R are of F and F, that means the P, Q and R are open. So here therefore current flows from the terminals that is A to B in all the cases except in one case, that is when switches that is P, Q, R are open.